I think one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is I'll become her when I have more money, when my kids get older, when life slows down, when I finally have childcare, when I finally feel motivated. But what if becoming her actually starts long before any of that stuff happens? What if the woman you dream about becoming isn't built by having perfect circumstances, but by the small choices you make every single day? Because here's what I've learned. You don't magically wake up one day and become her. You become her little by little, decision by decision, habit by habit, prayer by prayer. So if you've been waiting for the perfect time to finally become the woman you know you're capable of becoming, I hope after this video you stop waiting, because today I want to show you how you can start becoming her right now with what you already have. Hey, I'm Koya, and over here we talk all things confidence and personal growth so we can become the women we were always meant to be. Let's start with a hard truth. You have to stop waiting for life to change before you start changing. And trust me, I definitely get it. I used to think that I couldn't really work on myself until life looked different. Like, I always had an excuse. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have childcare. I can't afford therapy. I can't afford a gym membership. And maybe you said some of the same things. And honestly, some of the excuses that we make are real challenges. But sometimes those challenges become the very reason we convince ourselves that growth has to wait. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I have more time, or when life settles down, or I'll start then, next month or next year. And before you know it, years have gone by. Waiting for perfect circumstances only delays your growth, because the truth is you don't become her because your circumstances change. Your circumstances usually start to change because you decided to become her. That's the shift. There are things in life that we can't control, but there are also so many things that we can. You may not be able to control everything happening around you, but you absolutely have influence over the woman you're becoming. And that's where your power is. The first thing I changed wasn't my life, it was my mindset. Then I had to change my vision, because I realized, how can I become someone if I don't even know who she is? So I got really clear about the woman I wanted to be. And I honestly think you should do the same. So when this video is over, grab your journal, grab your phone, open the notes app, whatever works for you, and answer this question. Who is she? Not what she owns, not how much money she makes, not the car she drives, not the house she lives in, but who is she? What kind of presence or energy does she have? How do people feel after spending time with her? How does she treat people? How does she respond when life gets hard? What does she believe about herself? And after you've written all of that, then write what she owns. Write down her dream house, her business, her income. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. But what I've realized is the woman I wanted to become wasn't just defined by what she had. She was defined by who she was. She carried herself differently. She had peace. She had confidence. She had discipline. She wasn't controlled by other people's opinions. She was very emotionally secure. She was faith-led. And something else that really stood out to me was she wasn't perfect. She was still flawed. She was still growing, but she was intentional. Every day she made decisions that aligned with the woman she wanted to become. And once I got clear on who she was, everything changed, because every decision became easier and every day became another opportunity to practice becoming her. Here's a little tip that's helped me. Whenever I'm faced with a difficult decision or I'm tempted to fall back into old habits, I stop and ask myself one simple question. What would she do? That one question helps me stay in alignment with her. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about personal growth is that transformation happens overnight. And trust me, I wish it did. I wish we could wake up one morning and suddenly be more confident, more disciplined, healthier, and living a life we've always dreamed about. But that's just not how it works. Transformation happens in tiny decisions. It's not usually one big life-changing moment. It's hundreds of little moments that most people overlook. So instead of sitting around wishing you were more confident, think about what the most confident version of you would do. Sometimes it even helps to think about a confident woman that you already admire. And this is not to try to be like somebody else, but a reminder that you can do it too. So maybe the most confident version of you finally posts the video she's been overthinking. Maybe she goes to the gym even though she's nervous, or she shows up for the thing that God has been calling her to do. Or maybe she applies for the job she's been doubting herself out of. Don't try to do everything at once though. Start with the smallest step. Let's say the woman you want to become prioritizes her health and fitness. Maybe your first step isn't working out 5 days a week. Maybe your first step is simply buying a workout outfit that makes you feel comfortable and confident. Or maybe you find a 10-minute workout you can do at home. Maybe your first step is just drinking water. Small steps still count because every small decision is casting a vote for the woman you're becoming. And eventually, those small decisions become habits. Those habits become your lifestyle. And that lifestyle becomes your identity. One thing I've realized is that becoming her isn't just about confidence in one area of your life. It's about becoming confident in every area. So over the last few years, I've been intentionally growing in 5 different areas. And these ain't areas I've mastered, but they are areas I'm committed to growing in because together they completely change the way I see myself. The first one is spiritual confidence. To me, this is the foundation because the woman I dream of becoming has a relationship with God. She trusts Him, she obeys Him, she knows who she is because she knows who she is. And I remember when this became real for me. I was working a job that completely drained me mentally. Like every day I left work feeling exhausted. And one day I was at work and I just started thinking about my dream life, the house, the money, the successful business, everything I thought I wanted. Then all of a sudden, this feeling came over me. It was almost like an emptiness. And I asked myself, if I had it all, then what? Like I imagined myself at the highest level of success that I always dreamed about. And honestly, I still felt empty. That moment changed me because I realized success isn't enough, money isn't enough. The only thing that truly brings lasting fulfillment is a life lived with God. And not too long after that, I started reading my Bible. I started praying more, talking to God throughout the day, trusting Him one decision at a time. And don't get me wrong, every day ain't perfect. Some days my faith is stronger than others, but I've learned something. You don't need perfect faith. You just need consistent faith. The second area is mental confidence. This is one of the biggest things that changed everything for me because I realized that my biggest enemy wasn't other people. It was me. It was the way I talked to myself, the stories I believed, the thoughts I repeated over and over again. Like self-doubt consumed me. Those limiting beliefs consumed me. Self-sabotaging thoughts became normal. I would talk myself out of opportunities before I even gave myself a chance. Then one day when I was fed up with all of those thoughts, I started catching them. And instead of saying I can't, I started asking, why not me? If somebody else can do it, why can't I? Another thing that has helped me was becoming intentional about what I consumed. I started paying attention to the content I was watching. I started reading books that helped me. I started listening to podcasts that helped me. Because eventually I realized what you feed your mind is what shapes your mindset. The third area is emotional confidence. For a long time, I depended way too much on validation. Compliments, views, likes, people agreeing with me. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying encouragement, but I realized that confidence that's built on validation falls apart the moment people stop clapping for you. So instead of allowing other people's opinions to determine how I felt about myself, I started learning how to clap for myself and I started reminding myself of my value, even on the days that nobody noticed. Another thing that's helped me is learning not to let my emotions make every decision. Just because I feel discouraged, don't mean I quit. And just because I feel scared, don't mean I play small. Sometimes confidence is simply choosing not to let your emotions be in the driver's seat. The fourth area is physical confidence. When people hear the word confidence, most immediately think about appearance. And yes, appearance can play a role, but physical confidence has become so much bigger than that for me. It's about honoring the body God gave me. This means eating healthier, moving my body, working out, getting enough rest, taking breaks when I need them. Those things make me feel confident because I'm keeping promises to myself. Plus, they make my body function better. Then there's appearance, the way I dress, simple maintenance routines, taking care of my skin, doing little things that make me feel put together. None of those things define my worth, but they do help me show up feeling more confident. The last area is purpose confidence. Honestly, this is probably the hardest one for me because purpose requires courage. It requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. It requires facing fears that you rather avoid. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be making YouTube videos for thousands of people to watch, I would have laughed. Even 2 years ago, I never imagined God would use my story to encourage women in this way. Starting a YouTube channel, building a business, overcoming my fear of being seen, none of it felt natural at first. It took courage to get here. Was I confident when I started? Definitely not. And honestly, there are still days I don't feel confident. But I've learned that if God calls me to something, He's also faithful enough to walk with me through it. So I like to remind myself, if God called me to it, He'll guide me through it. Confidence didn't come before I started. Confidence came because I started. And that's something I'll probably say for the rest of my life. The biggest thing I've learned is that you don't wake up one day feeling like her. You become her by repeatedly acting like her, the woman of your dreams. And then eventually your feelings will catch up to your actions. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this. You don't have to wait. Not for money, not for motivation, not for confidence, not for perfect timing. The woman you're becoming is created by the decisions you make today. If this video encouraged you, I'd love for you to comment below. What's one thing you gonna do today to become her? And if you're on this journey with me, don't forget to subscribe because every week we're growing in confidence, faith, self-worth, and purpose as we become the women God created us to be. And I'll talk to y'all later.